Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ video here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift NoDQ. I have your questions today from Twitter, so let's go ahead and get started. First question today comes from Joshua Anderson. If the rumors of WWE offering contracts to Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Cody Rhodes are true, do you trust WWE to use them properly? That is a very valid question based off of how WWE has treated other talents in the past, but I think they're going to be okay, especially the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. I know some fans think that if WWE signed Omega, they would ruin him, but I think Kenny Omega will be a huge star in WWE. Look at AJ Styles. AJ Styles came in and he became one of the top guys in WWE. He became WWE champion. I think Kenny Omega one day will be the WWE champion. He will be a top guy in the company. And the Young Bucks, I think that they will be a top tag team. And quite frankly, if Cody ever comes back to WWE, I think that they will push him strongly as well. It all comes down to timing with those guys. AJ Styles came in at the perfect time because there were several guys on the injured list. Cena was out, Rollins was out, Orton was out. A lot of guys were injured. AJ was able to come in and right away make a huge impact and fill that void that was left from the injured superstars. With Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, is 2019 the right time? That remains to be seen, but I think that when they do come in, the timing is right and the stars align. I think that they will be major superstars in WWE. So I'm not concerned about the company not using them. WWE wants them very badly, and I think once they are signed, I think there's a good chance they'll go straight to the main roster and they'll become top superstars. Got this one here from JT. If the Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks come to WWE next year, do you think that they will do a Bullet Club versus the Undisputed Era? I don't know about a triple threat feud. And like I said, I think that Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, they will more likely than not go past NXT and go straight to the main roster. Now, one day, could we see the club or the Bullet Club, whatever you want to call them, could we see Omega and the Young Bucks against AJ Styles, Anderson, and Gallows? Absolutely. Would not shock me, actually, to see that happen at some point. And maybe even down the line, if the Undisputed Era get called up to the main roster, we could see a feud like that as well. Maybe we could see one of the factions combine. Maybe we'll see AJ Styles, Anderson, and Gallows, and the Elite, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks. We could see them all working together and making a super group in WWE, and then maybe the Undisputed Era could form their own super group, and we could have a feud that way. Maybe like a renewed Nation versus DX feud in 2019 or 2020. How about that? But yeah, I could definitely see those guys in some combination going at it, but specifically, I don't think there'll be like a triple threat match or anything like that. Got this one here from Jason Bush. Is there any way you could see the fans start to cheer for Roman Reigns other than turning heel? They would have to change his character significantly. Reigns needs the cool factor. He needs something for the fans to say, hey, you know what? I like this guy. It's cool to like this guy. And he doesn't have it. See, with the Usos, they turned heel and then they just turned up the cool factor 100%. They developed an edge. They were coming out there. They were acting like the guys you wish you could be. With Roman Reigns, people are just annoyed by the guy. They see him as Vince's creation, the kid-friendly superhero, and it's not really a cool character to like to begin with. And plus, the fans just resent the fact that he's getting this push ahead of other guys. And as far as other fans are concerned, if somebody else had Roman's push, they could arguably be a bigger name. Of course, that's all up for debate, but I think I think that it's going to be hard for WWE to erase that resentment that fans have towards Reigns. So I'm not sure if there's anything you can do other than turning him heel and just reinventing his character. Got this one here from Future Shocker. Can you see Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam with Lesnar winning and then Braun cashing in after the match as a way to get Lesnar out of the picture and start a feud with Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman? Yes, I think that this is a very realistic possibility of happening at SummerSlam. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. It's Strowman's one opportunity to cash in. As I've said before, I would rather see Strowman announce his cash in rather than cash it in on somebody who's not prepared. But knowing WWE, they'll probably go the predictable route of Reigns finally beating Lesnar, finally slaying the beast, and then Strowman comes out and takes advantage of the contract, cashes in on Roman Reigns, and then do we have a heel Braun Strowman again versus Roman Reigns? Would not shock me. Would not surprise me if WWE just went that route and tried to redo that feud all over again with Reigns as the so-called babyface and Strowman as the heel. I know it sounds boring and been there, done that, but would not shock me if WWE chose to go down that route. Got this one here from William. Do you think WWE and UFC are in a short-term deal that allows Brock to compete for both sports and UFC fighters to compete in WWE as well? I don't really think there's any deal. Basically, Brock Lesnar's deal has been that he can fight and perform in WWE at the same time. Hence that 2016 fight against Mark Hunt. Now, could we see Brock Lesnar stay with WWE and fight in UFC as well? Anything's possible. I think Brock would like to have both options and be able to make as much money as possible. It's going to be a very interesting couple of months. Brock has officially entered the drug testing pool, so he is serious about getting back into the octagon. Could we see UFC fighters work a deal to perform in WWE? I think that if that was going to happen, it would have already. I don't think there's necessarily a deal between WWE and UFC, but obviously both sides want to make as much money as possible. So if Brock Lesnar jumping between both sides creates more intrigue and generates more publicity, then they'll just milk it for all it's worth. Got this one here from Turbonius. Which WWE superstar do you think is in need of a heel turn the most, other than Reigns? Which WWE superstar needs to turn face? I have touched upon this before, but I'll go ahead and say it again. As far as guys that should turn heel, Bob Roode, whatever you want to call him. He is lost in the shuffle on Monday Night Raw. I feel like his character needs an overhaul. Dean Ambrose is another guy, but when he comes back, initially he's going to get the big pop. You can have him as a face, but I think as far as urgency, right now, Roode would be my top guy, or maybe even Finn Balor. But I think Roode would be my top choice. As far as guys that are heels going to face, Rusev. Rusev's the obvious #1 choice, followed by Aiden English. But WWE might break them up at some point and keep English as a heel. But the crowd loves Rusev, so why fight it? He might as well be a babyface and just embrace the Rusev Day chants and let him be an ass kicker. Let him be Goldberg, because he could certainly be capable of being that guy. Just come out there and just beat the crap out of guys, and let him work his magic and just let it flow. Let it go in the direction the fans want it to go in. Stop fighting it. So there's my opinion on that. Got this one here from Harvey. Would you like to see Bobby Roode and another Raw superstar join Ziggler, McIntyre to create a 4-person team similar to the Horsemen or Evolution? Sure, why not? I'm all for WWE creating some more factions just to shake things up a little bit. And if it does result in Roode going heel, then I'm all for the idea if it means we're going to finally get a heel Bobby Roode, align him with some of the top mid-carders and form this super group and elevate all the guys involved. So I do think it's a good idea, and going back to earlier, if the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega come in, then they have some ready-made opponents. You can do faction versus faction and have the Elite try to fight off this top heel faction. They could come in as baby faces and feud with these guys. So I absolutely think it's a solid idea. Looking ahead towards the future and the possibilities, I think it's worth doing. All right, so that'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ Video. Thank you all very much for watching. As always, make sure you stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest news regarding Extreme Rules, which is this weekend. NoDQ.com will have you covered with the very latest. I will be doing my usual live coverage. Head over to NoDQ.com/shirts and pick up a shirt. And don't forget about NoDQ's 20-year anniversary meetup in Los Angeles coming up, Survivor Series weekend. Head over to NoDQ.com/LA for more details on that. And on that note, I will see you guys next time.